Alright, JJ, welcome back to episode 27 of We Were Gamers.
Man, more than half of a year.
I thought at some point I was going to stop counting, and then you got me into this rhythm of counting, and now I don't even look at notes to remember the number, which I think is kind of bad.
Oh, it's bad?
Well,
I would say you're so invested.
oh,
Such
okay.
passion.
Yeah, you're probably right. I do write the numbers like 3 times a week, so.
Yeah, that's true. That helps, We have to come up with episode titles, got to write the numbers down then. Record a file, you type the number once there. It helps.
Right on. Well, it's Wednesday when people hear this.
Yes.
So
enjoy the solace from the long national nightmare that has been the election season of the last 2 years.
It's all over with, no matter how it turned out. I guess we can
Whatever. It's all over. Who cares how it turned out? Thank God it's over. Everyone go back to ignoring politics like you had been.
And yeah, maybe ignoring each other a little bit more on the internet would be nice.
Man, everyone just be good people. That's all that really matters.
Agreed. Moving on. Hopefully people listen to our bonus episode from BlizzCon.
Yeah. I knew we put that out pretty almost right before we recorded this, and it was a good one, I think.
It was good. Our predictions part was excellent.
I liked it when we recorded it. That's what I'll say for sure. Hashtag the boop.
Say what?
Hashtag the boop.
The boop? Oh yeah, because I called the boop.
Man, apparently the Sombra reveal boop exploded on the social media, and you will note that Andrew, the prescient Sombra whisperer that he is, used the same boop in our podcast the night before. Conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah. I have all the insider infos.
So good.
Except not.
Oh no, I like the idea that you should have just said you were.
Oh, okay.
Hacked my brain to think about boops.
Nice. Well, the only thing we didn't really cover was like Weird Al, which was cool. I liked that.
Yeah, so you had never been to a Weird Al performance, so give me like your rundown. Just review it as like a musical thing that you were at.
Review it as if it were a musical thing I were at.
Like, pretend you had paid for a concert and this was the one you saw.
Oh, okay, I see.
Maybe not like a lot of money, but some amount of money.
It's hard. I mean, critically, I can't review it critically because it's my first, like, attendance at his show, so I can't say how well performed it was in accordance to his previous performances.
Sure.
But overall, I would say my enjoyment level was concurrent with the price I paid to be at BlizzCon and see a show at the end of it. I have enjoyed ones with artists that I have known in the past, like Metallica, Linkin Park, the Foo Fighters, Jack Black, all those guys. I know their songs. And I would say that I enjoyed this almost equally. And it was nice to see the room still full when the artist was on, unlike a couple of years.
Yeah, I would say that there's definitely been years like Blink-182 for sure. And I don't know if Linkin Park was the case, but I would imagine Linkin Park was also the case. That there's just a segment of people who didn't want that, and they just pieced.
Yeah, there was a lot of people piecing out on certain ones. This one stayed full, which was cool. As a first-time listener, kind of. I mean, I'd heard 2 or 3 songs of his, obviously, because they're such cultural touchstones, like Eat It and all that.
Yeah, like Eat It and My Sharona and that kind of stuff are stuff that's been around since the 70s and 80s.
Exactly. So, I got to hear those, which was cool. It was a little weird when he did his like little redux versions with the guitar.
The like slow jams versions.
Yeah.
I had not heard most of those before.
It was kind of funny, but
yeah.
My least favorite part. But overall, I'd say, yeah, it's cool. I wouldn't, listen to it every day, but it was enjoyable to go to and listen to and have fun at. And the videos are great, and I had a good time.
And he still does about 10,000 costume changes despite being old.
Yeah, the costume changes were really funny, I have to admit, for sure.
So I have seen him before, more than once, although I was reminded by my parents the first time I saw him, I was maybe 12, so who knows if it counts.
It counts. It counts.
Yeah, he performed at the OC Fair, I think, when I was 12, and I saw him there. So
nice.
But I was reminded that he just really can nail, in some weird ways, those pop sounds, that get made.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to describe it other than, like, how all people say all pop music sounds the same in some kinds of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And he can just do that sound in a lot of ways, even though it's him and not Miley Cyrus or whoever else. And then he makes usually some really funny music videos to go along with them.
That they've actually done a study on pop music recently, and there's something in it called the millennial something. It's not the word octave, but it's something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think you've hear it in songs and stuff, but it's like when they go, oh, that sort of thing.
Okay.
But they put it in music, or they put it in vocals, or they put it in all sorts of different types of beats and stuff. And it's like, It's in 85% of songs since the 90s.
It's like designed to tell you when this music was made.
I guess. I don't know.
More or less. Interesting. I have not heard of that. That's cool.
Yeah, you should look it up. I'll put a link or something. It's weird. It's one of those, like, those things where where people are from because of how they speak, or all these sorts of...
Oh, sure, like a distinctive mark kind of thing.
Yeah, so apparently all pop music right now has this distinctive mark for this generation.
I will say, anecdotally, I watch and listen to some streamers sometimes, and I heard Kriparian, the caster, Hearthstone player guy, streamer, YouTube person, that give his review of BlizzCon, just like the stuff that he saw and liked. And he said that his opinion about the musical acts at BlizzCon is that the amount of dumbness, the more people end up watching it. And so, like, the serious music acts, the least amount of people watch, and the dumbest music acts, the most amount of people watch. And he rated this of all the BlizzCons he says he'd been to, and I guess he said he'd been to about 7, which is maybe like only 1 or 2 more than you and me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that the best one this was second in dumbness, and so therefore was probably the second best attended concert.
Nice.
And he said the first one was when Tenacious D performed.
Dude, who wouldn't have stayed for Tenacious D?
Who wouldn't have stayed for Tenacious D? And that was his point exactly. It's like, Tenacious D's music is really dumb, but also hilarious and great. And he said, I think the room was packed. Like, not a single person got out of their seat, like, left,
I think one of the things that has always attracted me more to bands like Tenacious D versus Weird Al, and one of the reasons I never really gave Weird Al a shot, was because Tenacious D, he writes his own music and lyrics and all that stuff.
It's original stuff, yeah.
Exactly. So I feel like it's not to say that Weird Al isn't making music, right? Like, he is,
sure.
And he's creating art. I'm not saying that he isn't.
And he does have some original music, too. But it's definitely the minority to the parody stuff, yeah.
So it just strikes me differently in terms of what I want to hear. Like, I don't generally like those types of pop songs. Like, I don't listen to them a lot.
Sure, you're not listening to top 40 radio and stuff anyway, right?
Right, yeah. So parodies of it, I still kind of don't like as much.
It makes sense. Yeah.
But anyway, that's my review of the only part of BlizzCon we didn't review, basically.
Because it hadn't happened when we were recording it.
Yeah.
But it was good time overall. I think there was a lot of cool stuff to see there. A lot of fun stuff going on. But since BlizzCon, Andrew, a few new things have popped out.
They fleshed out some more info on that Heroes thing. I saw that.
Right. Yeah. So interesting little change they're going to do there with those guys. Do you want to go into that more, or we just say that it happened and we feel good about that?
Go into it for a second.
Oh, I don't really. I still haven't even played enough Heroes of the Storm to get the card back or anything yet. So I'm way behind. But do you have to play 15 games?
Yeah, 15 or 30, depending on what you want to get as rewards.
So at 15 games, you get what exactly? You
get a skin in Overwatch for Genji and Spray and something else.
Okay, and then at 30 games, you earn...
And you get Zarya in Heroes of the Storm.
Okay, so you do get a heroes related bonus there also. It's not just
Yeah.
like Overwatch. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
And then at 30 games, you get 5 more specific free heroes, or is it any 5?
You get 4 more specific heroes and a
Okay.
motorcycle and a portrait.
Cool. So yeah, that's cool, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
don't
they didn't announce where the dates and that you can do it versus AI.
Yeah, so the revealing that you can do it versus AI is cool and might make me actually want to do that.
Yeah.
It would give
Versus
me a
AI
chance.
games are pretty fun, usually.
Yeah, and it gives you a chance to screw around with the heroes or on maps that you don't know.
Cho'Gall for life.
Yeah. I still have not ever actually played as Cho'Gall, despite having gotten him from being at BlizzCon. So,
well, there's a first time for everything.
that's true. So that'll be fun to screw around with once in a while once that finally rolls out.
Yeah, hopefully it comes soon.
We found out actually that there's a few more features being added to Diablo that didn't really get talked about so highly with the Necromancer stuff.
Funny story, we didn't even find this out from the internet. We found this out in line for beer, talking to one of the Diablo developers.
I know, right? Funny the stuff you find out. But they did eventually talk about it, I guess, in a QA or something somewhere.
Yeah. The
Or a
day
developer
after we
got on.
talked to this guy, they announced some of this stuff.
And so there's the coolest thing, I think, and maybe you agree with me, Andrew, is they're announcing an armory feature for Diablo 3, which is like this way to sort of save loadouts between your character so that you just get all your best gems, all your best gear, all your best stuff, and you can just set it up the way you want it and then save it. And then even if you go mess around with stuff later, you can always go back immediately to that setting.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
And then-
it's really great, especially because it's so tedious to get through all the skills and
Yeah, man.
taking them off of one key and putting them on another key, and
Yeah, it's a really nice quality of life stuff. Just like get everything set up the way you like it, save it, then go play around with your new thing, realize you don't like it as much, click, you're back. You don't have to look anything back up again. You don't have to check your whatever. You got it saved. It's good. And the other nice quality of life thing, they're taking all the crafting stuff out of your inventory and putting it in its own separate little tab, so it doesn't have to take up space.
nice.
Praise be.
Yeah. Well, they've already removed most of the crafting materials from the game.
That's true.
Most of the blacksmithing is basically pointless.
Yep.
There's uses for it, and one of the main uses being getting items from upgrading your crafted items, basically.
Right, yeah, it's like take your blacksmith items and re-roll them in the cube to have a chance to make them into legendaries that you want, or break them down for crafted items.
Right.
So-
Yeah, I don't know. So 2 new zones, Diablo
Right.
1, a necromancer character, plus this quality of life stuff.
Yeah, I
It's
saw the internet.
It's enough to get me to play D1 for sure. Like the
Sure.
playthrough of D1.
Also, apparently the Diablo 1 thing is time limited. It's not going to be around forever.
Whoa, they didn't say that part.
It's like some kind of seasonal thing, apparently.
Huh.
So I don't know about that. I mean, sure, we'll go through it. I can't imagine it would be that tough. 16 levels of a dungeon doesn't seem crazy, although it was pretty tough in Diablo 1. But...
Well, it's also interesting that they suggested that you do it with a fresh character.
I think that probably means they're just going to tune it for low level.
I don't know. It was odd because he said, you really should get the experience by doing it with a fresh character. And then he was like, wink, wink, there's a lot of secrets, right?
Well, that's how it was when you started Diablo 1, right? You start at the top level of the church and you go through that, and then you go through the bottom level, like the middle levels, then you go down into the hell levels, and I mean, that's how the Diablo 1 played. So
Yeah, okay.
it'll be interesting to see. I think it'll be fun to, get the retro feel, the horrible pixelated graphics, and 8-way movement. So
The 8-way movement makes me excited.
yeah, definitely how it used to be.
It's kind of funny. But yeah, that's enough to get me to try that. But I don't know if it's enough to keep me in the game, which is what they seem to be implying they want to do.
Yeah, we'll see. That thing is, who can say? Who can say? I think the reaction on the internet is tepid, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, they were all hoping for D2.
Yeah, or a full new game. So
Exactly.
sounds
That's
like
all right.
we will see.
Yeah.
But some new Hearthstone cards have started to trickle out. The dreaded trickling effect of all the cards will slowly be revealed to us over this time frame.
I mean, you called it, dude, and you said they're going to trickle the cards to us.
They're going to do the thing that they've been doing, and are they doing it?
Oh boy. Well, you know what? Definitely, it's interesting. Giving the cards to streamers has become so integral to this system. It's not just like one or two, you know?
Yeah. They have even now put up a list on their main site of here's the streamers for this week. Here's the times they're going to reveal them and which days. Like, you knew these agreements were out there, right? The people behind the scenes knew these times anyway, right? The streamers had to record these videos. They had to get the card from the PR person. There was a negotiation or whatever that happened there. You know, the views and the traffic. So now this is just Blizzard promoting these guys' YouTube channels and saying, here, go to this place on, Wednesday the 9th, and there will be a card. And it's like, man, that's really letting you know, here's where you can get that stuff. Our drip feed is pointed this way today.
It's interesting though to have a company. They seem to be headed two directions. With Hearthstone, they're kind of like using distributed networking in a way, right? They're like, and here are all these streamers. Let them be involved. Let's, build hype with them, etc.
Really embracing the community side stuff.
Yeah. Overwatch seems to be headed the opposite direction. Hey, we're starting a league. It's going to be our league. We're going to pay the people. We're going to pay the teams. We're going to put this together and make it work from our coin, our way, all regimented that way. So it's like interested that they're kind of using different models in different places.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting point. I hadn't thought about it quite like that, but it makes a little bit of sense, at least to me, directly. And if you think about a game like Hearthstone, which is this card game, there's a lot of very random aspects to the the known unknowns, that kind of stuff, right? It's a incomplete knowledge problem. It's not like playing chess where you can see everything, and then randomness affects a lot of it. Oh well, do you draw the right card at the right time? Does Yogg polymorph your opponent's guy at the wrong time? That kind of stuff. It's a lot harder to see the skill in that kind of a game where you watch the guys play Overwatch. It's immediately really obvious when the dude headshots 4 guys in a row and jumps off the balcony sideways looking all cool, like Neo from the Matrix or whatever. It's way more obvious that he's a cool guy and is like doing really good stuff. So it's like maybe it makes more sense to try and build a sporting type league around this game that's more obviously analogous to sports in some way compared to this card game, which really isn't. So I think it's a smart move on their part anyway. I
definitely agree. And I like both models. I'm not saying that they should go for one or the other. I think that both of them could work for what they're hoping to get out of them. Seems like Hearthstone was a pretty community-driven game to start with, so might as well keep it that way.
Yeah, and plus they rely a lot on the stuff from people who don't really follow, people who just play phone games and stuff. And this generates a lot of social media stuff for them too, so that people can see, this is the cool new thing.
Any other leaks after the show, things they forgot to say that you saw?
I don't think so. I think that's sort of everything that I really saw from the show.
Nice.
Am I forgetting anything that you can think of?
Not that I have off the top of my head, but I did take my 3DS to the show.
Yeah, I wished I had remembered. Man, what a man. So I know you discovered something because I was there with you.
Here it is, guys. The PSA of the week. I'm gonna blow your mind in case you haven't taken your 3DS to a convention yet.
Drop the bomb.
Yeah, here's the bomb. Leave your 3DS parked in sleep mode in the slow Streetpass Me Plaza, not the fast one.
In the slow plaza.
Yes, because there are 2 plazas.
Now, Andrew, that sort of seems like, what was the purpose of the fast plaza then? Seems like that's kind of pointless.
More than that, do you know why you gotta leave it that way, JJ?
No, Andrew, I want you to tell the people. Yes, I do know, but I want you to tell the people why.
I know why you gotta leave it that way. Because you were there when we discovered this.
Yeah.
After Thursday and Friday, taking my 3DS around with me, I didn't really have a lot of time to explore the games and be playing during the convention. It was pretty busy the first 2 days. Thursday because our daughter was there, and Friday because it was like the first day everybody was getting together and we were doing all sorts of games, and it was busy. So Saturday morning, sitting with you guys, I opened up my 3DS to expect to see 50 people in the line instead of the 10 at the gate. Because, they had said there's this new feature where if you get more than 10 Street Passes, you can have them in a line, and then you can let them in whatever groups you want.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have anybody in my line, JJ.
That's what? What happened? Was it broken?
It's not broken. It has this thing where you have to click on your gate and then tell your gate to send people to the line.
Oh, no. So you still have to get the Street Pass. You still have to get the 3DS out, which basically invalidates the purpose of having the line.
No, right? Like, this still takes 2.5 seconds for you to say, okay, it's been an hour and a half. I got to go on here and move people. You don't have to move them in groups of 10.
Oh, you don't?
No.
So it still will collect up to a 50?
It will collect up to 100.
And then you can move them all at once?
No, so I guess I'm misdescribing this. So let's say you have 7 people at your gate.
Okay.
You can move those 7. You don't have to wait till it hits 10.
Oh, okay. So as you get people
Yeah.
or think to do it, you can...
So the rest of the convention ended up opening it every hour or so, and I would have 8 people, and I'd move them to the line. So I ended the convention with like 40 people in line plus 10 at the gate. So I got 50 people, but I could have had 100 if I'd known
that you needed to move.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
Well, so it's a step forward, but not the...
It's a huge step forward. You don't have to play.
Not the leap we wanted.
Yeah.
They didn't get all the way there.
Well, they definitely took the leap. I don't mean to disparage this move. Obviously, it's 1,000 times better than
right,
the old one.
It still takes only 2 seconds, right? And then you can deal with it all later, which is the best part.
Right. And, having to run the line from the slow plaza is annoying, but it is what it is. It's whatever programming is in there.
Are you unable to do this via the Fast Plaza then?
Yeah, you can't do this at all in the Fast Plaza, as far as I recall.
Man, what's the point of the Fast Plaza? Bummer.
I don't know.
Can you put people in the line and then switch to the Fast Plaza just to process the line?
Yeah, and then you send the line to the gate, and then you can start doing everything from the Fast Plaza.
Okay.
So you can still use it. It's just kind of like wonky. Like for the huge leap that they made, I wonder if it's some sort of back-end programming or something, because it's real wonky. They kind of like have to bounce around all over the place to just make things a lot faster, but
yeah.
Oh well. I mean, I'm still going to take it. It's a huge upgrade to the 3DS Street Pass functionality.
Totally, yeah. So did you play any of the new Street Pass game that we haven't really had a chance to mess with, since neither of us have done anything since we got it?
I did, yeah. I tried out all the new games, actually.
Awesome. How are they?
They are all unique and fun, and what the Street Pass games should be. Absolutely. Hands down, these are the style of games that Street Pass should be. Awesome. The last couple sets I've always described as they released 4 RPGs. Some of them were puzzle games and some of them were actual, flower growing RPG games, but all of them took the amount of time of an RPG. And we talked about what the games were before and how you play them and stuff, but especially like the stock exchange one, where once you know how to play it, essentially what you do is you day trade. Right. And you get one chance at day trading with all the people that you have. And the more people you have, the more information you get about the highs and lows that you're going to hit during the day of day trading. And then when you say go, the stock price goes, and it goes all day, and you buy and sell. And you try and make money. And that's it.
Yeah, and it doesn't take that long.
And it's simple, and it doesn't take a long time. And then let's say you have some more time to kill. There's side stuff to do that you don't have to do at any point in time ever, or you can do later, and you're not impeded or hindered by not having done it.
Cool.
The slot car one is really fun. There is more of an element to it than just hold down the A button, which was nice.
Okay, nice. So it is really a game, not just a press A to win, like a lot of the the ones are.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little bit press A to win. If you have decent reaction time, it's a kind of a reaction time thing. When you come to the corners, you're supposed to let off the button and then go through the corner and then hit the button on the way back out of the corner.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
That gives you some strategy there, and then also there's a strategy to creating these like chips that go in your car. So you can design it to make your car corner better or go faster on straightaways or whatever. And you can design who you let in, and so that you know what chip they're going to make for you, and then you run a certain track. Right? Like, oh, I'm going to run this track and it's 9 million corners. Well, I'm going to let in all people with green shirts so that I corner really well.
Nice.
But you don't have to do that, right? Like,
right, yeah.
You probably win anyway.
But
it's just one of those things, like if you want the S plus time.
Sure, for the extra couple points or whatever that you get because you're close to whatever.
Right. So that most of us are not going to care, and the people that will care have something extra to do. That's, I think, goes across the board, all of them.
Nice. Awesome. Well, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. The Stock Exchange one is way more fun than it has any right to be.
Man, that's the one I had. I'm so mad I didn't bring it. That would have been so cool.
It has more. It's like silly, You're just like making fake money in this thing that you don't even see. You see it for 5 minutes and you're just like, yeah, I own that stock market. I'm the best day trader.
Get rich.
But it's cool. I'm glad I got a bunch of people to play all those games with.
Cool.
It's fun. What have you been up to since Saturday? I assume you had a nice leisurely Sunday heading back down to San Diego, and it's already Monday again.
Yep. Not a lot really to talk about, with regards to what I did. I played some more Civ because Civ is great. The march of the Aztec Empire continues unabated.
What year is it now? I can't believe you haven't timed out.
It's 1940 or 19 something. Once you have taken over a large portion of the world, it becomes a lot of work to manage all your cities, Every turn takes a long time because there's production finishing here. You got to micromanage the builder over there. You got to do. I have like 20 cities, and there's still like 4 more empires I have to conquer.
The plight of Caesar over here. Oh, I know, it's so
right?
hard to be in charge.
It really is, I'm not gonna lie. How do I keep up with these trade routes and stuff? It's like a real big hassle. I just finished taking Japan's capital because he declared war on me because of religion or something. I don't know. So whatever, he got his. Don't declare war on me. That's the tip I'm gonna give you in this game. Don't do it. It's gonna end bad for you. Maybe not for 50 years or whatever, but my army will eventually get there, and when it does, you're gonna have a bad day. I think probably Paris with the what's her name, Catherine de Medici, and then probably Arabia is the next 2 in line, since they're standing in my way to the last couple people.
Knocking them down like dominoes.
In the interior of the continent that I can't get to. It's like, it's on, one of those continent style maps, but there's one giant continent at the bottom and then one little tiny continent up at the top. And Japan was up there, so I thought it was at first going to be a hassle, but it turned out his continent didn't have any resources, so he was poverty status. So it was real easy to invade and take him over with a bunch of good ships.
So just blow up his cities since they're not worth keeping.
Yeah. You have to I keep his capital because it's a pretty big city, not gigantic, but big enough. And I'll just let him keep the other couple that are up there. He can't possibly attack it. He's just going to throw his troops at my city defenses and be annihilated, so who cares? But the problem now is I have all these sweet boats, but the rest of the capitals are all inside the land, so they're not going to be useful. I can't. The boats are useless now. I own the ocean, woohoo! But who needs it?
Time to start selling some boats.
I know, right? So I have all these submarines and stuff that are never going to be useful. So we'll see what I end up doing with that. Maybe I'll make them into nuke subs or something. I don't know. I just finished the Manhattan Project, so I have the ability to make nukes. So we'll see. Someone's going to get nuked. I don't know who. Someone. They already all think I'm a warmonger anyway, so.
Yeah, well, you might as well live up to your name in the game.
That's right. Aztec Empire. Montezuma. Sup, son.
Nice.
Yeah, Civ's great, man. That game's really good.
So, JJ, I heard about something I wanted to ask you about.
Okay, shoot it.
We haven't talked board games in a long time.
Oh, yeah, it's been a while.
I heard about this new game called Seafall. Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I wanted to ask you about this because I want to see what your thoughts are on the mechanic of it.
Okay.
Seafall is what they call one of those permanence games. So I don't know if you've heard of Risk Legacy.
Oh, it's like one of those. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So for the people out there, so there are versions of board games like Risk or this Seafall game that you permanently affect your game every time you play it. So let's say...
I was going to say, you need to explain it more because permanently is not clear.
Here we go. Let's say, I think Pandemic now has a permanent version too, by the way.
There is a Pandemic Legacy.
Yeah. So a legacy version of the game means, let's say you're playing Risk, and in Risk they've now added nuclear missiles. And you nuke Moscow. I don't know why you do that, because there's a lot of people there, but...
Okay. Nuke Siberia, the best place.
Siberia, some place where there aren't people. But anyway, let's say you nuke a city in Risk Legacy. The next time you play Risk Legacy, that place is a gigantic fallout zone and you can't take it over and no one can be there.
Right. So it literally changes the game from then until the last time you ever play it.
It is changed forever. You put a sticker on the board, you mark it with a pen, and in the case of Seafall, it's an explorer's game. So there's a gigantic exploration map. And as you start to go places and reveal things, you mark the map. And then people can't get points the next time you play for exploring this area or doing those things.
Because it's already been explored.
It's been done. Yep.
Interesting.
Exactly. Or in a lot of cases, I think Risk and Seafall both have this mechanic. Let's say this commander dies or that captain dies. You rip up their card.
And I know, at least in Risk, there's a couple cases where you're supposed to pick one, and then you literally burn the other one.
Yep.
It's like there's two sealed envelopes. You pick A or B, and you open the one that you pick, and the other one you are supposed to burn.
So you never knew what it was.
You'll never find out what it is. You didn't pick it. Nothing to know. Which is crazy.
As an old school gamer who scraped together cash to buy Magic and Warlord cards, everything about this is anathema to me, but I'm intrigued to know if you have played a game like this before.
So no, I haven't, but it sounds cool. The issue I think I would have these days with a game like this is that I don't know that I have enough time to play it the more times like it deserves. So it would be the kind of game you'd want to come back to, right? You play it once, something cool happens, then you want to play again to see how it's different, right?
The other thing maybe that affects that is, do you want the same people each time you play it?
Sure. So it becomes like a campaign almost, right?
In a way, yeah.
So everything becomes its own mini little D&D style where you want everyone to experience the new thing again. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not against this idea. I agree with you that as a person, back from my childhood, this sounds like, why would I destroy this card? That's a horrible idea. Mark up the board? No, Andrew, this board is brand new. It's so shiny. Why would I want to destroy it?
Or spending dollars on something that is essentially non-permanent, right?
Right. You've literally spent money on something and they're now telling you to destroy it.
Right. I mean, I spent a couple $50 expansion buys on all the Catan stuff. Mm-hmm. This is priced the same. It's not like it's any cheaper than buying these games that I'm going to have forever.
Right. And you're destroying half of it while playing.
Right. And eventually it becomes unplayable and you have to buy it again.
Yeah.
Let's say if you're hard, like you play it a lot, then you...
Sure. You run out of things to change. Yeah. Interesting. I have not played any of these, but I think it's a cool idea. It seems like there are definitely the people that are into this kind of stuff and would like it. I don't know if I am necessarily that person.
Gotcha. Well, it's definitely not, it does not fall into the casual board games category.
Yeah. Actually, I was reminded a week or two ago, since you brought up board games, Stephanie found out there was an Oregon Trail card / board game that came out recently.
Like Oregon Trail, like the computer game.
Yes, and it has the Apple II kind of graphics and stuff on all the cards.
Yes.
Yeah. We have not actually gotten around to playing it yet, but maybe I will make that a mission this week, if possible. And hopefully I can come back and give a report.
Is it kind of a Euro style card game, or is it a little bit more complicated?
There's definitely some amount of complication just based on the cards and stuff that were there, as it seems like you can, but you can definitely die of dysentery. I saw that, so it's a real Oregon Trail.
Nice.
But it looks pretty good, so I'm excited to see how that goes.
Fantastic. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know. She had mentioned that it was a hassle finding because it was only available at Target, and she was the one who wanted to see it. So, yeah. So maybe people out there who like board games check out Target. I don't know.
Well, I was just about to mention, I think Target used to do a thing with the Geek. What is it?
Geek and Sundry.
Yeah. They used to
Yeah.
do a Geek and Sundry deal where they would have, board games from Geek and Sundry's shows and stuff. Are they still doing that, or did they kind of get out of that game? Because the last time I was in Target, I didn't see much of anything there. They had maybe, I think they still had Catan, but that was kind of it in terms of all the wacko board games.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I have not been keeping up with Target's advertisements, unsurprisingly.
JJ, I'm so disappointed.
I know. Sorry. Get my Sunday mailer back out.
Oh boy.
Wall. Like I get a newspaper.
I didn't have a ton of time to do much else other than those 3DS games because I did go to an NFL game on Sunday.
Yeah, so was this the first one since you became a season ticket holder?
This is my first Rams game as a season ticket holder, and I didn't even wear a Rams shirt or hat or anything.
I mean, how many Rams fans are actually there?
Quite a few, JJ.
Are there Rams
We
fans?
were remarking, so I went with a bunch of Panthers fans. Shout out to Michael and Laura and Chris, who, we were there to watch the Panthers play because they were playing the Rams. Anyway, remarkably, everyone in that stadium has Rams gear on, other than maybe 15% of people that were there for the Panthers. Maybe, yeah, 15%.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of shocking thinking about how much merchandise they have sold moving to LA.
Now, would you say that this is because the North Carolina fans did not travel, or the Carolina fans did not travel out here for that, or just because the Coliseum sucks and no one wants to go to it, that the maybe more fair weather Panthers fans in LA didn't bother to go?
Coliseum was full. Most of the stadium was
That
full.
didn't answer my question.
Well, so if most of the stadium was full, I would say that maybe the Panthers did not travel well, probably because they're struggling.
Okay. So you think it's maybe more of a matter of the team is struggling, so their fans didn't bother to come out, or the LA-based fans weren't enticed to go since the team wasn't good?
As a comparison, I know that, well, I didn't try to sell the Panthers tickets, so I don't know, but my Seattle tickets sold the minute I put them up for sale after I got season tickets, right? So
Gotcha.
certain teams I think will sell better. Like my 49er tickets sold almost immediately also.
Sure, they have a huge California fan base, as you would expect.
And maybe it's just the travel, I think. It's a tough team to travel for.
Okay. Well, give me the lowdown of the experience. I know there has been, let's say, problems.
I guess we'll just run through the entire process from start to finish. We parked in Culver City, so for people that don't know LA, that's kind of maybe 30 minutes west of the stadium if you were driving your car. It's hard to say distance because time is what matters in Los Angeles.
I was just about to say that seems far.
It's not far.
30 minutes?
Well, if you're doing it in LA, both the Coliseum and the Culver City are kind of along the freeway, but you're going to be back roading it from there.
Sure. So you parked in Culver City. How did you get to the stadium?
There is a brand new metro stop in Culver City.
Okay. Nice.
And we took that all the way over to USC,
mm-hmm.
and then walked from USC to the stadium, which
okay.
was 2 minutes. It took us probably
not bad.
Probably 20-ish minutes all in from getting on the train to getting off the train into the stadium.
Okay, well, that feels pretty reasonable.
Didn't have to park near the Coliseum
Didn't have to pay $80 million.
For parking. Yeah, pretty great. So that part was well designed.
Oh, Andrew, hold on though. I know you know the answer to this. How much does it cost to park near or around the Coliseum?
Do you want a literal number?
Yeah, I want you to shock the people with how expensive this is.
I saw a $50 sign.
$50.
Yeah.
To park a car in, let's just say, a not great neighborhood.
You're not unlikely to have it broken into.
Wow, I can't. That's so much money. Holy smokes.
I think that might have been for a tailgating lot, so it was a little bit more expensive, but
still. Man. Okay, sorry. So you made it to the stadium.
Into the stadium. I don't know if they've done a lot of refurb work or anything, but it was not overly terrible inside of there. And inadvertently, our seats ended up being in the shade most of the game because the sun went behind the Jumbotron and shaded our seats. So all of it was unmiserable for us, and we brought water with us, so there was less of that problem, although it seems like the water fountains are now working.
Nice.
So it's still the Coliseum. It's still old. It's still 1,000 times larger than it needs to be to host a football game.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't miserable being there. The fans were colorful and also friendly at the same time. You know, we got jeered at, but also did not feel like there was going to be any problem or whatever. Again, because in LA, you know, Raiders fans fight Raiders fans and Rams fans fight Rams fans. It has nothing to do with the other team.
It's just feisty humans.
Yeah, Dodger fans fight Dodger fans.
Yeah.
I've seen 4 fights at Dodgers versus Angels games.
Uh-huh. All between Dodgers fans?
All Dodgers fans against Dodgers fans.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't say that you're wrong.
It's funny. It's funny to me. I mean, just what did we say at the beginning of this podcast about?
Be good to each other. Yeah. Be good.
So the only downside of taking the Metro was after the game.
I imagine it was a bit of a mob scene.
Yeah. Luckily, they had learned from it.
Okay.
And kind of put up markers and ferried traffic to different places to try and make it easier. But you still kind of get into a little cattle call kind of kennel sort of situation.
Sure. I imagine it's unavoidable at some level.
Well, we know for the future that we can walk a few blocks a different direction and get on the train, no problem.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, but other than that, it seemed okay. I still have my constant complaint that despite the need for security and police and all these things, I do not think sheriffs need to be walking around with assault rifles.
Yeah. That's a constant thing that I see sometimes at supposedly high security events. It's just like they decide that high security just means the same amount of police but more guns instead of just more police.
Yeah.
It's not actually necessarily helpful.
I'm 100% happy to have that many police there, but just like feeling like the National Guard is standing there directing traffic doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. But maybe if it was the actual National Guard, you would feel less bad about it rather than just some police dude with an AK-47 or an M4 or whatever.
AR-15. Anyway, the game was fun at the end.
I was just going to say, I don't think the score belied the fact that it was very fun.
They scored 7 points in the first quarter, and then the fourth quarter is when everything else happened.
Yep.
So it was fun at the end. And it was fun to see the Panthers win, you know.
Yeah. I think your hot tip to my fiance of don't start Cam Newton, he's going to do bad, turned out to be a pretty good tip.
I forgot that that's what I said.
Yeah. I had mentioned to you that she had a choice between Cam Newton and Dak Prescott, and you were like, don't start Cam Newton, he's going to do bad. And I told her that, and she said, "Oh, okay." And I was very thankful for it based on their scores this week.
She dominated. I don't even know if she needed Dak Prescott.
Probably
I
not.
guess we should just get into fantasy football now, huh?
Fantasy football minute. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's going to be more than a few minutes.
Well, whatever. You name the segment. You don't have to follow the.
Is she not on her way to first place? She's wrecking.
Her team is strong. She's higher placed than me, although we have the same record, but she has a lot more points than me. So she'll stay above me even if we both win this week, which it looks like we will.
Wow.
The issue is that the people at the top have that tie that keeps floating them. Very frustrating. Very frustrating. So, but there should be a shuffle after this week, though. There's some people should be moving up, some other people moving down. I'm squarely in the middle of the league, pretty much. I know you're not as squarely in the middle, but I don't think you're out of it. I think you can make the playoffs if you go on a run here at the end. You got enough.
Something would have to improve, like, not having to watch the Broncos lose and then also getting 7 points from the quarterback that beat them.
Yeah. Yeah. All the points from the Raiders, I think, were made by their couple running backs, and none of them from the quarterback.
Literally, my luck, JJ, this season boils down to this. The Broncos are losing. My fantasy team's losing. And the only bright side is that Derek Carr throws a touchdown pass to Latavius Murray, and I think, well, that's a lot of points. Maybe I'll win my fantasy game. Oh, wait, there's a flag.
Yeah. Actually, Andrew, it should have been pointed out that Broncos were tied for first in the division until the game where they played the other team they were tied with and lost.
Try that again. The league.
Okay. So they were tied for first and then lost to the other team they were tied with. And so now we're second, and you're saying that they're losing?
No, I just said that having to watch your team lose.
Oh, sure. You don't want to watch them lose.
But then having the players that beat them and still not winning with your fantasy team is just so insulting.
I would like to know why Devontae Booker sucked after doing awesome for the past 2 weeks.
I don't know. I really can't explain it.
Okay.
I can't explain much about their offense going, 3 and out 5 times to start the game or things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch and it's like, oh, wow, look at that amazing pass. Oh, he dropped it. Oh, look at that amazing pass. Oh, he dropped it. Oh, look at that amazing. Oh, he dropped it.
I mean, the dude, it's just, I don't understand it. They did so much throwing and so little running when the running was the thing that was doing so great for them before.
I can't process it, man. I can't process anything in football this year anymore. Fantasy football is dead to me. I'm in last place in my other league. I just keep losing, even though I have, I had a better team before I made a trade that completely backfired because everybody got injured.
Well, Andrew, let's talk about people who are in last place. I am also in last place in another league, in my work league with the auction and stuff. I am in last place in that league. However, this week, the redeeming begins. I have the second highest score in the league this week. And I was off by 4 points. 4 points. Thanks, Devontae Booker. 4 points.
You're likely to just come crashing back down to earth next week, though, right?
No. But, Andrew, the thing is, in this league, if you get the highest points for the week, you get money.
Oh, I see.
I could have recouped some of my loss by winning highest points.
Gotcha.
Based on, it looks like I came third in points. I was 0.7 points behind the second place person and 4 points behind the first place person. And the two teams, the second place person and the third place person in most points are the two people in 9th and 10th. And I'm the 10th place person. So,
what?
Yeah, I don't know. There was a team that's 7-1 in our league and has been destroying everyone and everything all week and forever. And then there's, some guys like me down here in the basement, which really sucks. Yeah, but damn, so close. Oh, man, I could almost taste that $6.
Woo!
I mean, not that I would ever do betting. Betting's illegal.
Isn't it a game of skill? I think they said it's a game of skill.
Okay. Well, anywho.
You're not betting.
Yeah, I'm not. That's right. Anywho. But, I won back on the train. Woohoo.
I'm just pulling for Stephanie because I still don't want to see you in first place.
Based on the way it's going, I don't see how I could beat her team. So
I'm not challenging anyone apparently. So
Yeah. If her players put up the number of points that they got again, like I don't know, like I feel like having just like Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott on the same team is already just really good. Those two are just gonna like give each other 1,000,000 points forever. So it's gonna be what's gonna be.
Well, stay tuned for more fantasy football complaints for the rest of the season.
Yay!
One of these days, it will be a happy day for both of us, and we'll have a ton to say.
It was a happy day for me, Andrew. Yay!
Yay!
I finally won in all my leagues.
For you.
Don't sound too excited.
Oh, JJ, where can people send us their complaints about fantasy football?
Well, if they want to see send us pictures of their complaints, they can follow us on Instagram. We also posted a bunch of cool pictures from BlizzCon. We posted pictures of the sweet beers that we tasted that you can find out about on the bonus episode. You can follow our Instagram at We Were Gamers. If you wanted to tweet us a question, you could go on there at Twitter and find us at We Were Gamers.
We were pretty active during BlizzCon. We
tweeted some stuff for sure. Definitely get out there. Use hashtag #TheBoop, which I think is a hilarious hashtag, and I'm starting right now. Although it's probably already out there, and we're co-opting something that we shouldn't be. Oh well.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Sometimes it's better not to have known.
Doing it. I'm not pre-searching that hashtag, so I'm sure this is going to go great. And you can follow our Facebook page, which is also We Were Gamers, facebook.com/We Were Gamers. And you can send us email if you want us to read it and talk about it potentially on the podcast, which is podcast@weweregamers.com.